Yeah, going to be pretty hard to get away from that.
It's interesting, you know.
24.
He's kind of, as we see Hellmuth trying to limp in the king high suited here, and being raised up by the 6-4. Been a little bit all over the place emotionally.
I noticed that he was just genuinely, you know,
seemed relaxed and laughing.
He's a gangster, man. He's been out-chipped before. He'll fall into genuine pockets of just enjoying himself, you know. I mean,
we were playing 3,000, 6,000 blinds. Phil Hellmuth is down to only 30 big blinds. He's going to need some help. He picks up king 2 suited and limps, which is perfectly fine, perfectly standard. And then Jason Koon with 6-4 of diamonds decides to raise it up to 4 big blinds. A lot of people may look at this and think, what in the world is he doing? He has the 6 high. But it turns out the GTO strategy in this scenario is to raise with a lot of your absolute best hands, like good, strong suited aces, Broadway hands, good pairs, and also to raise with a bunch of low suited connectors and suited junky hands, such as 9-2 suited, 8-2 suited, 7-4 suited, 6-4 suited, 6-5 suited, stuff like that. Those are hands that will do very well against your opponent's limping and then calling range, which will usually be with hands that are above the low junky suited hands. So either you're crushing them with your good strong value range, or your hands are going to fall below their calling range, which is going to make you pretty live. Jason realizes this. He raises it up. Phil Hellmuth, of course, calls, and we go to the flop.
Has a lot of respect for Jason, but yeah, I noticed that too.
It almost feels to me as though he's gotten to a place where he has accepted what has transpired and just kind of reframed himself and understands the task at hand, which
very
is
nice so far from Hellmuth here.
Flop comes Jack, Jack, Jack. 3 jacks. It's an uncommon flop. Jason Koon makes a 30,000 chip bet into the 48,000 pot, so about 2/3 pot. This is a situation where if you consider the range that I think Jason Koon's going to have pre-flop, he has a lot of good pairs, which actually crush Phil Hellmuth's range that should contain almost no pairs, because he would have either raised them pre-flop or re-raised them pre-flop. And Jason Koon's range also contains a decent amount of jacks, like ace-jack, king-jack, queen-jack, jack-10. Those are all hands that will also raise pre-flop a decently large chunk of the time. He may even raise stuff like jack-4 suited, jack-3 suited, jack-2 suited some portion of the time. So this is a scenario where Jason Koon's going to have a big range advantage, a big nut advantage, and when he does bet with his pairs, he's going to be smashing Hellmuth. And when he bets with his total junk, like 6-4 suited, and gets something like king high, queen high, 10 high, 9 high to fold, that's actually a really, really big success. So this is a spot where Jason does just go ahead and push his range and nut advantage with a 30,000 bet. And Hellmuth makes the call with the king 2. This may look a little bit loose, but I think it's probably fine. It's an annoying spot. This is one of these situations where you may have a really difficult time realizing your equity if Jason will just bet turn and jam river a large chunk of the time. But if you do expect Jason to check with a lot of his range on the turn, some portion of the time after he does bet big and Phil Hellmuth calls, then you can call and be a little bit happier with the idea that you're going to be able to see a showdown for less than all of your money. So I don't mind Hellmuth's call with the king high, with the backdoor flush draw, with probably a relatively live 2, and we head on to the turn.
mighty, of course, and yes, nice indeed, is Koon. Follows through for 30,000 with 6 high and gets called, and
while you're scared of Hellmuth calling you, the queen he goes for check, fair enough.
Go on, though, the thought?
I was thinking the queen might.
The queen is an interesting card because I don't actually think Jason's going to have all that much a queen high in his range, because he's probably not raising the low suited queen X pre-flop. He's going to raise some like random offsuit queen some small portion of the time, like queen 7 offsuit, but he really does not have a whole lot of them. At this point, he's going to have a lot of random ace high and a lot of under pairs and a lot of unpaired hands, a lot of total junk. It's kind of hard to figure out what Hellmuth's going to have in this spot. He may float the flop with like every queen high, and he will limp and then call pre-flop with hands like queen 10, queen 9, queen 8, queen 7, right? So Hellmuth actually may have a decent amount of queens in this scenario. I think Jason realizes this, especially if he thinks Hellmuth's getting trappy, as he will do some portion of the time. And he decides to check, which I think is probably the right play. Check, check fold, get out of the hand, and move on with your life. Maybe bluff the river. Hellmuth with the king high has an easy check back. If he bets and gets called, he's probably always beat. If he bets and gets raised, he has to fold. So this is a scenario where Hellmuth's only option is to check it back and try to see a cheap showdown at the river.
Favor Jason, but nonetheless, again, a player who calls on Jack, Jack, Jack. The 4 certainly favors Jason, though. And that jovial outlook you were just referencing from Hellmuth might be waning a little in the face of this, although he might not see it if he likes to fold.
Man, this board texture.
Oh, it does just pay it off.
Jason Koon gets a little bit lucky on the river. He rivers a little full house. And when you have a good but non-premium hand on the river that you would like to value bet, like this hand, you usually want to go for a small size, because if you go very big, you're going to find that a lot of the hands you are trying to get called by, such as king high, maybe a hero call from 10 high, maybe ace high if Hellmuth has any of that, those will start to fold out if you bet very big. So usually the strategy in this scenario is to bet small with some quads and also small with some thin value hands, like perhaps a 4, maybe some middle pocket pairs if you have them, maybe even good ace high if you have it, like ace king. I think that those hands can all conceivably get called by a lot of worse hands if you bet small. Before I could even pause the video to tell you that, Phil Hellmuth made the call, no problem, king high. I don't think he's going to like the result.
And he'll see the bad news, Holly. Here we are.
Brace yourself.
This guy gets away with murder against me. I mean, murder. What the Every time he makes a big raise, I know he's light. He doesn't know I know that? Come on, what the He cannot win that pot. He's needs a 6 or a 4. Come on, what the How many cards are you going to give him? He tried to bluff off the money and double me up for no reason, just like I knew he would. Motherfucker. I guess I could have bet the turn. Big raise means he has nothing. Like, I've studied him for what the is that?
Well,
all that money. I mean, what the I'm going to try to bluff Phil Hellmuth.
I just prefer to make a value bet. That's more fun.
Phil Hellmuth goes on his classic Phil Hellmuth tirade. You know what? I want to know what you would say. How would you respond after a Phil Hellmuth tirade in that scenario? Pause the video and let me know in the comment section below. I don't know if there's a right thing to say to Phil Hellmuth in these spots. He seems to not especially care what anyone says in these scenarios. He just brushes it off and keeps going on his tirade. I think he wants to get the bad beat thoughts out of his system and just try to play great poker on the next hand. You want me to spoil what happened on the next hand for you? If you want to know who won this game, stick around. If you don't, go watch one of my other videos. Go away if you do not want to know who won. Did I spoil it right there? All right, the very next hand. Jason Koon raises, Queen 8 offsuit. Phil Hellmuth puts in a third of his stack with the Ace King offsuit, and Jason Koon wasn't buying it. He had the Queen 8 offsuit, he ripped it in, gave it a spin. Phil Hellmuth snap called with the Ace King, and Jason Koon took home the title. He is now the undisputed best heads-up player in the world in the PokerGO studio, and Phil Hellmuth may have the opportunity to challenge Jason Koon again for a whole lot of money. We will see. Congrats to Jason Koon for winning the $1.6 million pot. Tough luck for Phil Hellmuth. That's me for today. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a quick favor. Click the like and subscribe buttons down below. Please, 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 please. Also, click the little notification bell. That way, you know when I have more good, fun videos coming out, which happens very, very regularly here. Good luck in your games. Have fun. Make the most of your opportunities. And when you lose a poker hand, understand that life will go on.